I used to tell women my age to keep their hair long because it made us look put together. I was wrong, and it took me years to admit it. The right short or shoulder length cut does more for a woman over 70 than any cream or serum ever will. Today I'm walking you through 5 summer haircuts that are making women in their 70s and 80s look absolutely radiant right now. The kind of cuts that catch light, move in the breeze, and make people ask where you got your hair done. I've spent years researching what actually works for mature hair versus what just looks good on a 40-year-old. So what I'm sharing here is what's really working. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week, and I'd love to have you back. Part 1. The silver pixie that's turning heads. Most women think a pixie cut on silver hair reads harsh, almost severe, like something borrowed from a magazine editor rather than a real woman living her life. That's actually backwards. Silver and white hair is one of the only hair colors that gets softer looking the shorter you cut it, because the shorter length lets the natural shine of gray hair catch light from every angle instead of getting weighed down and dulled by length. There's a version of this that's having a real moment this summer, and it isn't the choppy, spiky pixie from a decade ago. Here's the fix. Ask your stylist for a soft textured pixie with longer pieces left at the crown, and a slightly longer fringe swept to one side. The sides stay close but not shaved, just tapered enough to show the ear and jawline. The key detail nobody talks about is the crown. That's where volume gets built with layers cut at an angle rather than straight across, so the hair lifts naturally instead of lying flat against the scalp. This single detail is what separates a pixie that looks intentional from one that looks accidental. What changes when you get this right is immediate. Your jawline gets framed instead of hidden. Your eyes become the first thing people notice instead of your hair. And the shorter length actually makes fine or thinning hair look thicker because there's less weight pulling each strand down. Women who make this switch tell me the same thing every time. People start commenting on their face, their skin, their eyes, things nobody had mentioned in years, because for the first time in a long time nothing is competing with her features for attention. There's a maintenance piece worth knowing too. This cut needs a trim every 6 to 8 weeks to keep the shape, but that's actually a gift disguised as a chore. Regular trims mean regular chances to talk with your stylist, adjust the shape as the season changes, and catch any dryness or damage before it becomes visible. Women who commit to this rhythm often say their hair has never looked healthier, because it's never had the chance to get overgrown and tired looking between appointments. One more thing about styling it day to day. This cut air dries beautifully, which matters more than people realize once you're past 70. You're not standing over a hot dryer every morning fighting your own hair into shape. A little product worked through damp strands, and the cut does the rest because the layers were built to fall the right way on their own. The swap that makes this work is simple to picture. Before, longer hair past the shoulders, styled the same way for years, hanging flat and heavy, adding visual weight to the whole face. After, a short textured pixie with lift at the crown, catching light, framing the jaw, taking years off the overall look without a single product change anywhere else. Now here's something almost nobody mentions about the cut that's next on this list. The one stylists in warmer climates have been quietly recommending all season for a very specific reason. Part 2. The shoulder length shag nobody expected. There's a version of the shag haircut circulating right now that looks nothing like the choppy, feathered style from decades past, and most women over 70 dismiss it immediately because they're picturing the wrong thing entirely. The modern shag for mature hair is softer, rounder, and built around movement rather than sharp edges. It's quietly become one of the most requested cuts in salons this summer, because it solves a problem almost every woman with fine, aging hair struggles with, which is hair that looks flat on top and thin at the ends no matter what you do to it. The fix here is a long layered shag that hits right at the collarbone, with the heaviest layering concentrated through the crown and the top third of the head rather than at the ends. Your stylist creates volume where you actually need it, at the root and through the crown, instead of just thinning out the ends, which is what most cuts default to and what usually makes fine hair look even thinner. A few face framing pieces are cut around the cheekbones, left slightly longer than the rest, so they curve inward toward the jaw when they dry. The result the first time you see it styled is honestly a little startling. The crown volume changes your entire silhouette from the side, which is the angle most women never think about, but is exactly the angle everyone else sees you from in a room. Hair that used to lie flat against the scalp now has genuine lift and body. And because the ends are layered rather than blunt, there's a soft, feathery movement every time you turn your head. It reads as effortless even though there's real technical work behind it. The part women love most once they've lived with this cut for a few weeks is how forgiving it is with humidity and wind, both of which show up constantly in summer. Because the layers are already built for texture and movement, a little wind or moisture doesn't ruin the shape the way it would with a smooth, sleek style. If anything, the shag looks better slightly undone, which takes an enormous amount of pressure off your morning routine. A quick styling note that makes a real difference. Rough dry the hair with your fingers first, lifting at the roots as you go, then finish with a light texturizing spray rather than anything heavy or oily. Heavy products flatten exactly the volume this cut is built to create, so less is genuinely more here. The swap to picture is straightforward. Before, shoulder-length hair with even, all-over layering that leaves the crown flat and the ends looking thin and wispy. After, the same length reshaped with concentrated crown volume and soft face framing pieces, creating fullness up top and gentle movement everywhere else. Part 3. The chin-length bob built for bone structure. Every woman over 70 has heard some version of the same warning, that a bob will make an aging face look harder or more severe, especially once the jawline has softened with time. That advice made sense for the blunt, razor-sharp bobs popular in the 90s. It does not apply to the rounded, softly graduated bob quietly dominating salon requests this summer. And the difference between the two comes down to exactly one angle, the angle at which the ends are cut. The fix is a chin-length bob with a soft internal graduation, meaning the layers underneath are cut slightly shorter than the outer layer, creating gentle inward curve at the ends rather than a hard straight line. This detail alone changes everything about how the cut reads on a mature face. Instead of drawing a flat, blunt line across the jaw, the hair curves inward and slightly upward, which visually lifts the entire lower half of the face rather than boxing it in. The impact on the jawline specifically is the part that surprises women most. Rather than emphasizing where the jaw has softened, the inward curve of the bob creates a visual line that lifts, almost like a gentle frame drawing the eye up toward the cheekbones instead of down toward the neck. Women who've made this switch often describe strangers guessing their age lower than it actually is, not because the cut hides anything, but because it redirects attention toward the strongest parts of the face. There's a texture element worth knowing too. This bob works best with a very slight wave or bend added through styling, using either a low-heat wave setter overnight or a soft curling iron pass through the ends. Completely straight, flat-ironed hair on this length can look a little stiff on mature hair, whereas a soft bend through the ends keeps everything looking relaxed and natural, like your hair simply grew this way. Color plays a role here that's worth mentioning honestly. This particular bob looks stunning on fully silver or white hair, because the graduated ends catch and scatter light differently than they would on darker hair, giving the whole style a soft halo effect around the face in good lighting. If you're not fully gray yet, the same cut still works beautifully, it simply reads a touch more polished and less halo-like. The swap here is easy to see clearly. Before, a straight blunt bob or a longer style with no shape at the ends, creating a flat line that draws attention straight down toward the jaw and neck. After, the softly graduated chin-length bob with inward curve, lifting the entire lower face and redirecting attention toward the cheekbones and eyes. The cut coming up next solves a completely different problem, one that has nothing to do with face shape, and everything to do with how your hair behaves the moment you walk outside into real summer heat. Part 4. The Wash and Go crop built for real summer heat. Nobody talks honestly about how much summer humidity changes what actually works for mature hair. And it's the reason so many women end up frustrated by a cut that looked flawless in the salon, but falls apart the moment they step outside into real heat. There's a specific cropped style built almost entirely around this problem, designed less for how it photographs and more for how it survives an actual hot, humid day without a single touch-up. The fix is a short cropped cut, slightly longer than a pixie, with the length concentrated at the top and a soft, rounded shape rather than sharp lines anywhere. The back and sides stay short and close, cut with a slight taper rather than a hard line, while the top is left just long enough to push back off the face with your fingers or a small amount of product. There's no fringe to fight with in the heat, no length at the nape to stick to your neck, and nothing that requires a blow dryer to look finished. The real payoff shows up specifically in humid conditions, the exact situation where most longer or more structured cuts fall apart within an hour. Because there's minimal length and no heavy layering to hold a particular shape, humidity actually works with this cut instead of against it, adding a little natural texture rather than causing frizz or collapse. Women who switch to this style during summer describe an almost embarrassing amount of relief, admitting they'd spent years dreading humid days because of what it did to their hair, and suddenly that entire source of stress is simply gone. There's a confidence shift that comes with this too, one that's easy to underestimate until you've lived it. When you're not spending mental energy worrying about your hair every time you step outside, that energy goes somewhere else, usually towards standing straighter, engaging more in conversation, actually enjoying the outdoor plans you used to quietly dread. Several women have told me this cut is the first time in years they've felt like they could just live their life without checking a mirror every 20 minutes. Styling this couldn't be simpler, which is really the entire point. Towel dry, run a small amount of light styling cream through damp hair with your fingers, push the top back or slightly to one side, and you're finished in under 2 minutes. No heat tools required most days, no complicated routine, nothing that depends on the weather cooperating with you. The swap is easy to picture. Before, a longer or more structured style that requires daily blow drying and falls apart within an hour outdoors in humidity or heat. After, a short rounded crop that air dries in minutes and actually improves with a little natural humidity, rather than fighting against it. There's one cut left, and it's the one I get asked about more than any other, mostly by women convinced it simply won't work on hair like theirs. Part 5. The layered long bob that breaks the rules. For years the advice given to women over 70 was blunt and absolute. Cut it short because long hair supposedly ages a mature face. That advice ignores an entire category of cut that's proven this wrong all summer long. A longer layered bob that hits somewhere between the chin and the shoulders, styled with enough movement that it does the exact opposite of what people expect long hair to do on an older face. The fix is a layered long bob, often called a lob, cut anywhere from just below the chin to just above the shoulders depending on your preference, with long face framing layers starting around cheekbone height and soft layering throughout the rest for movement. The key here, and the reason this works when a plain long, unlayered style doesn't, is that the layers remove enough weight from the hair that it moves naturally instead of hanging in one heavy, static sheet. What actually happens with this cut runs counter to everything the old advice assumed. A heavy, unlayered long style does drag the face down and can look tired on mature features, but a well-layered lob does the opposite, because the movement and the face framing pieces draw attention to the cheekbones and eyes rather than pulling everything downward. The length itself isn't the problem people think it is. The weight and lack of shape is the actual problem, and layering solves it directly. There's a particular moment women describe when they see this cut styled for the first time. A kind of quiet surprise at how much younger and lighter it looks compared to the long, flat style they'd been wearing for years without questioning it. It's not that the length changed dramatically. It's that the hair finally has somewhere to go, some movement and bounce that a long, heavy style never allowed. This cut also holds color beautifully if you're someone who colors your hair rather than going fully gray, because the layers catch and reflect light differently throughout, giving even a single flat color noticeable dimension and depth without any additional highlighting work. For fully silver or white hair, the same layering creates a soft, luminous movement that reads as healthy and vibrant rather than simply long. Styling-wise, a loose wave through the mid-lengths and ends, whether from a curling iron, a wave setter, or just air drying with a light mousse, brings out the layering beautifully. Completely straight styling works too, but the cut truly comes alive with a little natural bend. The swap to picture here is simple. Before long, heavy, unlayered hair hanging flat with no movement, adding visual weight and age to the whole face. After, the same length reshaped with face framing layers and internal movement, lifting the face and softening everything around it. Look at what you've got now. 5 completely different ways to work with your hair this summer. From a pixie that lifts at the crown to a lob that finally proves length isn't the enemy people always said it was. You don't need drastic change to look radiant. You need the right shape for how your hair actually behaves and how your face actually catches light. That's real confidence, not a filter, not a trick, just the right cut. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 you're most tempted to try, or if your stylist has already talked you into one of them this summer. Next week I'm breaking down the color mistakes that quietly age most women over 70 years before their haircut ever gets the blame. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Beauty, and I'll see you in the next one.